65-year-old female patient who underwent a macular hole surgery with inverted flap presented with a type 2 closure of the macular hole and a vision of 636 N24 in the right eye. After staining with brilliant blue dye, an ILM flap was raised temporal to the previously peeled area around the macular hole. The ILM flap with an attached hinge was inverted over the macular hole followed by fluid air exchange and gas. This led to a type 1 closure of the macular hole with an improvement of vision to 618 N12. A 60-year-old female patient with a vision of 5 by 60 in the left eye and a history of macular hole surgery done elsewhere. An ILM flap was raised on the temporal side and not detached completely. Then a small bubble of PFCL was injected over the optic nerve head. The ILM flap was then completely detached and dragged over the macular hole and placed there. This was followed by fluid air exchange and gas tamponade, leading to a type 1 closure and a vision of 636 N12. Our third case is a 26-year-old male patient with a history of firecracker injury and a vision of finger counting at 1.5 meters with a large macular hole on OCT, surrounded with RPE atrophy. As the patient was very insistent for a surgery, a soft tip cannula was used to stroke the edges of the macular hole, leading to the closure of the macular hole with a decrease in the size of the scotoma and no improvement in vision. Our next case is a 48-year-old female patient with a history of blunt injury with a toy 5 to 6 years back and a history of macular hole surgery done elsewhere 3 months back. Epiretinal membrane was peeled with shreds of internal limiting membrane and stuffed in the macular hole with mild stroking of the edges with a soft tip cannula. This led to the closure of the macular hole and a marginal improvement of vision to 5 by 16 N18. A 55-year-old male patient with a history of previous 2 macular hole surgeries comprising of inverted ILM flap and free ILM flap and a vision of 660 N18. A site was chosen in the right eye and laser photocoagulation was done. The flap of the retina was not completely detached. A bubble of perfluorocarbon liquid was then injected over the posterior pole, coming over the area of the retinal flap. The area in between the laser photocoagulation was then dissected out using a bimanual technique. The retinal flap was then completely detached from the site and then dragged over the macular hole and placed over it. Small amount of viscoelastic was then injected under the perfluorocarbon liquid over the retinal flap placed over the macular hole. This was then followed by fluid air exchange and a gas tamponade. On post-operative follow-up, the patient showed a minimal improvement in vision to 636 N12 and a closure of the macular hole was seen. A female patient with high myopia and a posterior staphyloma and a full thickness macular hole presented with a vision of counting finger in the right eye along with retinal detachment. The axial length noted was 30 mm in the right eye. and OCT showed detachment at the posterior pole with a full thickness macular hole. She underwent a macular buckle surgery, which is a good option for such cases, leading to a complete closure of the macular hole and an improvement of vision to 20 by 160. The other options in desperate situations can be the use of anterior lens capsule and amniotic membrane grafts, which can be used to close the persistent macular holes. There are several options available for the management of persistent macular holes. However, what is important is that we need to be persistent to close such holes.
Manisha, great work. Just one question. Anterior lens capsule will become opaque over time because it has cells. So does it affect the transmission of light?
Sir, apparently even in the immediate post-operative period, though we find that the macular holes have anatomically closed, I think things like anterior lens capsule or an amniotic, visual improvement is hardly there. So
These are desperate cases.
these are desperate cases, right?
Okay. So, you know, amongst the lot of procedures you've shown, which in failed cases is your method of choice?
I think, sir, inverted ILM flaps do very well.
Should be.
So
Easy.
if we, yes.
Very
So
easy.
if we get away
And
with
if
that.
if somebody has already done it, can you take it out from somewhere else and put it there?
So the first one
One
was
case.
a great experience, sir, when I did that hinge flap.
Hinge flap.
That patient had already undergone 2 surgeries and there was hardly any ILM available around the macular hole. The important thing in that surgery is that you are able to raise a huge flap of ILM on the temporal side,
Yeah, I know.
but don't completely detach it. So it behaves like a hinge. And then you just invert the whole of it on the macula, and that worked beautifully.
Perfect. Any questions?
So very elegantly shown. I had a question. There was a difference when you shifted the ILM, the transplant versus the retina, in that you injected viscoelastic. So is there a difference
Yeah.
between the ILM flap, because in that you didn't inject viscoelastic under the PFCL bubble?
So actually the first time I tried doing, if you would have noticed in my retinal graft surgery, there was another site which I had taken where I actually took a retinal graft. And in my first procedure or first attempt, when I placed it, when I did a fluid air exchange, that graft inadvertently got sucked in. So that's the time I again chose another site, and I realized that I need to put in something because probably this is not as sticky. And also because I'm not using a Trifine like Rupak, maybe the size was not so accurate to just snugly fit into the macular hole. So it was more like a free graft which was there. So just to avoid that, that's why I used a small blob of the viscoelastic, which just kept it in place while I did the fluid air exchange. Yes, I did. Yes. And there I did.
Thank you so much, Manisha.
you, sir.
Can I ask Dr. Chakravarti to please